Hello, I'm going to do just a real quick forward to this video. I made this video last night and it was fresh in my mind, my thoughts, fresh in my prayers. And I got quite emotional at some parts of this, very watery-eyed. I wasn't going to show, I tried to remake this video, but it just doesn't seem like it was as good. So I'm going to show the original video that I made last night on the Unfaded Beauty, or Unfading Beauty. Unfading Beauty, sorry. But there's some errors in it. That I made an error when I talked about Christ on the cross. You know, I didn't script this. I just went with it. You know, I said some prayers, thought about things, said a lot of prayers, and then made the video. That's what I do 95% of the time. But I said Jesus hung on that cross for 3 days. No, he didn't hang on the cross for 3 days. And I watched the video. As much as I liked the video, thought it was emotional but worthy to post. But I said that 2 or 3 times that Jesus he was on that cross for 3 days. No, he wasn't. I want to clarify, and I know you all know this, but Jesus was crucified on what we call Good Friday, died, was buried in the tomb, and on the 3rd day rose and ascended to heaven in glory to sit at the right hand of God, the Father. But he did not hang on that cross for 3 days. Thank God. I actually looked into it, and a lot of people, for whatever it's worth, they kind of say that they figure it took him 6 hours or thereabouts from the minute they nailed him to that cross to when he gave up the ghost. They figured he was on it for about 6 hours. But sometimes it can take people days. But in Jesus' case, no, he was crucified on the cross on what we call Good Friday. And on the 3rd day, Sunday, he rose. You know, so no, he did not hang on the cross for 3 days. He was on there for 6 or 7 hours, and then he was buried in the tomb. And the 3 days comes in because on the 3rd day after he was crucified, that's when he rose, defeating death and all. Plus the resolution isn't very good. It's like 720. But it really doesn't matter the resolution, does it? I mean, I look better in low resolution. To tell you the truth. Like, well, I think I look better in lower resolution. You can't see the wrinkles and stuff so much. So I'm going to go with that video. And I decided to go with it and just add this forward. Correction. I knew then and I know now. I don't know why I said that he was on the cross for 3 days. I was just kind of speaking with my emotions mostly at that time. But I realized right after I made the video the same night that I made a big mistake there. And I didn't want to post the video because of that mistake. And so, no, Jesus did not hang on that cross for 3 days. He was crucified, buried, on the 3rd day he rose. So that's what I meant to say. So without further ado, here's this video. I get quite emotional in it. I'm really telling this from my heart and soul, and did quite a bit of prayer also to Christ. If I'm going to speak of Jesus, I'm representing him. I want to get it right. So I've corrected myself with this forward on with the video for whatever you want to make of it. Hope it helps somebody out. Hello again. I figured I'd like to do a talk tonight. That's all it is, a talk. Something that came to me last week. Not all at once, but gradually. I call this the Unfading Beauty. The Unfading Beauty. I don't know what else to call it. That's the best I could come up with. Alright, candles are lit. I made these candles out of I melted down half burned ones and put these together. It's my thing, as you know. Life. You know, stick around long enough and it starts to seem like a bit of a sham. I'm not saying it is. I don't believe it is. There were times I thought it was, honestly. I was fortunate enough to have a wonderful childhood. Nothing bad, nothing negative. I had a mother that was a brilliant person intellectually, a gifted speaker, a member of the International Platform Society. I guess that's prestigious. She was a very good speaker. She had a lot of friends in high places and friends in what you might say low places. But she was a wonderful mother to me and set a wonderful example. And I can still remember her going about the house singing. She had a beautiful singing voice. And she was on radio, which was a big deal a long time ago, to sing on radio. And then she had an opportunity to sing on TV. And then she wound up with me, pregnant. So she decided that she thought the TV route was kind of decadent, even back then. She thought it was too worldly. And, you know, she was married to my father. And that was the end of it. She decided it was more important to be a good mother to her children. So, thank you, Mom. But she set a really good example, and she brought Christ, God, the angels, music into my life. We always butted heads, her and I, a lot, just to be clear and honest, but the day never sank to where we didn't say, "I'm sorry, I love you," and give each other a hug, either in person or over the phone, ever. And she made my life the world seemed full of hope and magic. And I'm going somewhere with this. You know, I had what some people would call a milk and cookies childhood. My father was a good, decent, hardworking, very quiet person. He was not involved in my life. But my mother made the world magical, I think, to all of us. You know, myself and my brothers. And where am I? I'm not even sure. I know where I'm going with this. I just don't know how to get there. You know, I'm getting older now. Putting on weight, looking older, whatever. You know, I'm getting older. My mother died a couple of years ago now. I couldn't even be with her because of COVID. Nobody could be by her when she died. People have done me pretty badly in life, and people will do that. Family members, I used to think my family was the greatest family on earth. I'm talking my entire family, extended and all. And friends and spouse can let you down hard. Family members excel at messing you over, it seems like. But friends can betray you hardcore. People you love can walk out on you, stab you in the back, rip you off, crush you. And then you know, I'd pick up the pieces, and my mom, I hate to say it, call me a mama's boy or whatever. I don't care. She'd always have words of encouragement for me, which were usually strong words. Like, "Tim, you need to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and hold your head high. You've done nothing wrong, and get on with your life." And she would say about people that had messed me over, she didn't like that. You better believe my mother did not like to see her son messed over. But she would tell me just to wash my hands of these people and get on with my life. And that goes for even some family members that just abused me, abused my love, my trust. You know who you are. I don't need to mention any names. Friends, and you take so much abuse from people. Things you thought were sacred. And even your health. I was fortunate. I was very athletic. I was undefeated in track when I was in high school. And I was a very fit person. And put this body through a lot of heck, parachute jumps and all kinds of crazy things. And when I was younger, got up and walked away from it all. By the grace of God, some of it, I swear. The biggest problem I had was hair loss in my 20s, which was pretty well gone in my 30s. But other than that, I had perfect health, perfect eyesight. I used to be able to hear. It's just a memory now. But I remember laying in bed. This is my one memory of having great hearing. It's just a memory. Because right now I've got hearing loss and my head rings constantly. Thank God, except when I sleep. It turns off, so I'm able to rest. Some people, I understand, with tinnitus, they can't even do that. But I can remember being able to hear a mouse walk across the floor in my bedroom. And then my hearing was going, they say the Army, my Army experience, I was a machine gunner, tanks, and then tanks and stuff, and tanks and things that are loud, and my ears didn't survive that. And neither did a lot of people. But I can hear conversation just fine, so I'm just saying, I used to have really good eyesight. That's why they made me a sniper in the Army. I was an excellent shot. Thank God I never had to shoot anybody, just for whatever. People wonder. No, I didn't shoot anybody when I was a sniper. Thank God. Salute those that have had to do that, unfortunately. When we wait for Christ to come back, there'll be no more wars. No more need for snipers or any of that stuff. But you get older and your health goes, and your back, your shoulders, your neck, your teeth. Part of getting older. So even your body starts fading. And it's harder when you were I think for women, when they were very beautiful, when they were younger, and then their looks are pretty well shot by the time they're my age, a lot of people, men and women. And the game is over. Game's over. I mean, you used to wow them, you don't anymore. And that ain't coming back in this lifetime. We all go through it. And I've always said, some people weren't even attractive when they were younger. At least I was. I got my chance. And so did a lot of other people. They were good looking when they were younger. They were in shape. But there are people that don't even have that when they're younger, and they could be crippled, they could be grossly obese, could be a lot of things. Handicapped mentally, damaged by drug abuse. There's so many things that can happen. So I'm very fortunate. I'm not complaining. That's the point I'm getting at. God, my dear friend Jen she had it rough from the start with injuries. I don't even want to go into that. So all the things in the wonder in life, and my mother's gone, and she died alone, COVID, and her health was going quickly. I think it was really merciful, honestly. She had a lot of problems, and it was getting to the point that she couldn't carry on a conversation, which she was such a quick-witted, intelligent, gifted speaker, gracious woman, graceful, eloquent, clever, and to see their mind go. But quite frankly, I've said I think It's the drugs that they put her on in the home, the nursing home she wound up in. Thank God she didn't have to stay there long. But she used to go around that nursing home in her wheelchair and tell everybody about Jesus Christ. And if she saw some elderly person, I saw her do this every time I went to visit her. Where's my mom? She's not in her bedroom. She's out in the crowd of people in this budget state-run nursing home up on the 5th floor or something like that. And she would find some depressed-looking man or woman and go up and put her hand on their arm and talk to them about Jesus Christ. And there were some people that didn't like that. Nurses did not like her doing that. Some of these people's children didn't like her doing that. And they objected. And against my will, I wasn't named a proxy, but they put her on medications that the head nurse told me would settle her down. So she wasn't going around bothering people. And I was furious, because that's when she couldn't remember something she said 10 seconds earlier. And that's when she got COVID and she passed. But none of us could be there. We couldn't even send her flowers. So to watch her go like that, and then as you know, somebody very dear to me died recently this year. Not just her, but other members of her family quite suddenly. Somebody that meant the world to me. And she died like that. And I was helpless to help her. If that wasn't enough, then to watch my dear dog just go into convulsions and start hemorrhaging, and there was nothing I could do, nothing the doctors could do to save him. And he just died like a dog, loving me to his last breath. And then to have people you know, friends and family, utterly betray you. You know, the world that I knew lost its luster. Kind of bummed out today a bit. Which I wasn't going to make this video, but I said, no, make the video. It's the perfect time to make the video. You know, I've said some prayers over it, asked Christ to use this if it be His will. The world has lost its luster. Everything that I've known here, and you too, fades. The beauty in it fades. Friendships that were grand, they betray you, they walk out on you. Some will rip you off. The love of your life either dies and there's nothing you can do. And you just keep moving on. And people very close to you die. You've been through it. I'm sure most of you have seen it. And I don't mean to depress you, because there is a ray of light in this story. I want to get to it. And last week I'm driving along, bummed out. And I'm thinking, man, what in this world is worth living for anymore? I am thankful to God for every day I have here. And I hope to stick around and do whatever His plan is for me. I don't know. So don't take this meaning that I'm, wanting to die or something, necessarily. We're only here, anyway, I'm here to, at this point, I'm here to do what God wants me to do and live out His plan in my life, hard as it may get. I'm looking around. Even my music, I have a hard time forcing myself to play my music, guitar or accordion. And I love it. Music has been part of my life since I was 12. I get choked up because my mother got me into it. The Celtic stuff, namely. I thank her for that. She worked hard to make sure that I was immersed in music. First instrument was violin. Fiddle really is Celtic fiddle and bluegrass. And she paid a lot of money that she did not have for me to have those music lessons. And drove me out there, and the music teacher was a man named Drew Freck out in Sodas Point, New York, and he could be an ogre. He was hard. He was a real taskmaster. He even had my mother in tears once, yelling, what do I got to do to get you to practice your music? He had a temper, but he was really good, and we all loved him just the same. But yeah, now I have to even discipline myself to play accordion now, not guitar. I connect more to the accordion, and I usually, once I start playing, I feel better. What has its luster? Things that I used to collect. Little silly guy things, beer mugs. You know, I've got them all over the place. I've been collecting for years. Tools, old antique cork bottles, things I've carved. This was my mother's, this figurine of a clown with an accordion. You know, everything's lost its luster. I'm clearing out my house today. I'm throwing things out, and some things are going to the charity. And it's hard to do it, because I've had these things for a long time. And I said, that used to mean a lot to me. And I have to tell myself, what are you going to do with it? Nothing anymore. Who wants it? Nobody. Well, then you either throw it out or you give it to the charity to sell. And that's what I'm doing. And, it's hard. I find some things that were gems. And I tell myself, what are you going to do with it? She doesn't need it. Nobody wants it. There's nobody around here even to take it if they wanted it. Throw it out or give it to charity. So all the beauty of the world fades. It fades to us that are here. I'm sure to say in a galactic sense, the planet Earth is a lovely little green and blue ball that the Lord created. You know, that's His creation. I'm not saying that, but for someone as myself who really saw the magic in life, had it just beat out of me systematically. Purpose, like a Christmas tree, came to mind the image of a Christmas tree on a family Christmas, which I haven't known in decades, with all its glittery green and gold and red and white ornaments, and it, and then I'm seeing it like that with the family around it. This is almost like a Christmas story. Maybe I'll retell this and make it one. And then suddenly I see that same tree, dusty, black and white, none of the gold ornaments or the green or the beautiful colors twinkling in the candlelight have lost their twinkle. It's just dull and faded. But there's something beautiful. The unfading glory. And let me pull it together here. I didn't plan on getting emotional. There is something that's beautiful, unfading. And it occurred to me, Jesus Christ, the Son of God who walked this earth as a man like myself, flesh and blood like you, went to the cross for us. He didn't have to. And he was an innocent man. And I thought he willingly went up on that cross, had those nails beat up, scorned, crucified, hung up on that cross, nails driven through his feet and his hands, dying. A death like my mom died, like my friend died, like my dog even. I don't mean to put my dog in there, but Everybody, everything I loved just died like a dog, wretched, nothing you can do. Christ died. He went up there, took him 3 days. Like my mother was alone, nobody could be with her, and that really hurt because she really loved family. Not one of us could be there. Against the rules, COVID. She was isolated. And he was surrounded by thieves. Thieves. People that had done things that by their law belonged up on those crosses, and they knew it. The one guy next to him said to the other one, "This man is innocent, but we deserve to be here." And the other guy, I don't think could care less. They were in agony. They were dying, and they knew it. There was no hope for them to get off that cross alive. And the soldiers mocking him. He died a very humiliating, painful, slow death. He did have his family there watching. His mother was there and friends, disciples. But he was set up with thieves and tortured. And while he was dying, at his lowest moment on the cross, I think it's when he called out to God, "Where are you? Why have you forsaken me? My Father, why have you forsaken me?" Probably his most painful, agonizing, hopeless moment on that cross. He still loved us. He still loved us, each of us. You and me, and my friends, my mom, all of us. In the condition he was in, can you imagine if it was you or me, and I'm nailed up on a cross dying for a bunch of people I don't even, that aren't good people? I probably wouldn't be loving them. I'd probably be mad at them. You probably would be too, good chance. You'd be angry. Why am I up here dying this death for all these people that are not even good people, they're sinners? You know, no, he loved us. Even in his lowest moment on that cross. You know, suddenly the light came back on. Sorry. The star on top of that Christmas tree lit right up. So, I don't know why I'm so emotional today. Sorry, this is awful. I've had a few things happen I don't even want to talk about. There is something beautiful, unfading. When the rest of the world seems like a sham. I'm sorry, this is embarrassing. I don't even know if I'm going to post this. I probably will. When the whole world seems like a sham, like that Christmas tree that represented to me my family and my love and my hope, just goes out, just becomes a dead, dull, drab thing. None of the ornaments on it, which would represent all my hopes and loves throughout my life that let me down, died, or faded. Some of them didn't let me down. Some of them died. I mean, you can't blame somebody for dying, you know, or just... But they all went out one by one way or the other. And then I was like, there's nothing here. But then I remembered that moment on that cross, his lowest moment, where I would be angry why I'm nailed up here dying this awful death with these thieves and people around me and people scorning me, and I've been beaten and whipped for a bunch of people that aren't even worth it, it seems like. Some are strangers, and I would be pretty angry. And I'm sure you would too. No, Jesus Christ loved us. Powerful love, real love, the kind of love that is excited for you, desires you. You ever remember loving somebody like that? Could be, I'm not talking about necessarily romantic love, but somebody you really like a lot. You know, so it could be somebody in your family, it could be a friend, could be a partner, your wife or husband or somebody, or your dog. Like in my case, I really love that dog. Thought the world of. That kind of love, and more, and much more. So when the world seems like a sham, and it doesn't seem like there's really any hope or love or spark in it left anymore, look at the cross and look at Jesus, and get a look at the love that he still had for us, for you, for your loved ones, for you and me, while he was dying in agony. And he died. He died. He did death. The whole dying thing. Like I've said, you know, I've seen people die that I loved very much, and I couldn't do a thing to help them. And nobody could do a thing to get him off that cross. His mother was there. Jesus went through that. And when he was going through that, we put him there. He still loved us. That is the unfading beauty. And there's no other religions on this planet that have that. None that I can think of that have anything at all like that. It's really, Christianity is very unique. It doesn't give you a set of rules you got to live by necessarily, other than love the Lord God, your Father, with all your heart, mind, and soul. That's what Jesus said. And love your neighbor like you love yourself. That's it. I can't think of any other religion where their God gets nailed up on a cross for them and loves them. How many religions are there where if they nailed their God up on a cross, he would destroy them? You know, I could probably come up with quite a few where he would destroy them all. No, he loved you. So, that to me, occurred to me, there is one thing, an unfading beauty. There is one thing that is unchanging, that this world can't put out. You know, your sickness, your health, you know, your loneliness. When people walk out on you, you find yourself completely down and out, and your health's going. You may have aches and pains and illnesses and worries and struggles, handicaps, all the stuff, wars, horrible things you can go through alone. And sometimes even when you're with people, they can't, you know, you're still going through it alone, really. Look to the cross. When you look to the cross, look more specifically at the love Jesus Christ felt for you through the whole process of being crucified and dying. And then he rose up on the third day and defeated it. Did the whole death thing. The whole dying death thing. Buried and descended and rose up and defeated it. It's powerful. It's powerful. It's still a mystery to me, a lot of it. So I wanted to share that with you. It was on my mind. And I've really kind of bummed out today over a couple of things. It's just starting to wear me down. And I wasn't going to make this video because I was already feeling kind of a bit bummed and alone. And I thought, no, you go ahead. You make this. You shave your whiskers off and you make that video and pray about it. And So I gotta say it again, you gotta make hay while the sun's shining. I don't know that I'm gonna be here tomorrow to make this video. You know, or you're gonna be here in a few days to hear it if I wait. You know, we gotta make hay while the sun's shining. So, God bless you, each and one of you. Sorry I got a little bit emotional, but thinking about my mother and family, it's all gone. It's all gone. My family's just, it's all gone. Scattered in the wind, like the old dust in the wind. There is an unfading beauty. And that's Jesus Christ. When he walked this earth, he taught during his 3 years, he taught us, his disciples taught us things and did his miracles. But when he did his 3 days on the cross, crucified, he loved us. Right up to the bitter, bitter end. He loved you. How? I mean, there's something to that. An unfading beauty. Okay. I think that's it. I was going to read some Bible verses, but I'm just going to let that sit. God bless each of you.